Welcome to my channel. I hope you like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit step by step this little sweater. This is the Sweet Elaria Baby Sweater. It's for 3 to 6 months, and it's perfect for baby boys and girls. Now, you can easily make it smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 2 to 3 year size. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, make sure to comment and like the video and let me know if you want me to make a matching little hat or perhaps matching baby pants. I'll gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment and like the video. To make the Sweet Elaria Baby Sweater, this is the yarn that I used. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. For the 3 to 6 month size, which is this one here, I used a total of 138 grams, which is about 310 meters or about 340 yards. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. And remember, at the end of the tutorial, you can always find the finished measurements, and if you need gauge information, you can always find that in the information box. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, to begin and make this little sweater, I'll be using these 4mm circular knitting needles. These are 16-inch long, and today I'm using DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the size that we're making here in this tutorial. You can also use any number 3 weight yarn or 8 ply. So here, to begin, the first thing that we need to do is cast on 60 stitches. For this little sweater, we're going to start at the neckline and then make the yoke, separate the sleeves, work the body, and then make the sleeves. We're also going to be doing some short rows here for the back side, and don't worry, it's super easy. I will show you everything that you need to know about these short rows that we're going to do here. It's only 3 rows that I did. So to get started here, we need to cast on 60 stitches. Now, I like to add another needle here so that the first row for the neckline is not too tight. I'm going to show you how to cast on your stitches using the long tail cast on method. So to do this, we first need to measure the yarn. So I'm going to wrap the yarn around 20 times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have enough yarn here for about 20 stitches, double it up. I have enough for about 40, double it up again. I have enough for about 60. Now, add a little bit more. It's best to have some left over than to have to repeat this. So add a little bit and then make a slip knot. This is the yarn that we just measured, and this here it's coming from the skein. We're going to insert both needles through this loop, and we're going to open up the yarn like this, and we're going to go from left to right, and we're going to grab a loop like this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on until you have 60 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished casting on the stitches. I have 60. Now carefully remove that second needle. Now here we're going to add an extra stitch. I forgot to mention that. So just go ahead and add 1 extra stitch. Now this stitch here does not count. It's just there so that we can join in the round. So I have 61 stitches. Now to join in the round so that we can start on the neckline, here remove the first stitch onto the right needle. Now bring that last stitch that I cast on over this first stitch and drop it. Now pull the yarn, and now we're joined. Place a stitch marker here to mark the beginning of the round. So here to begin, we're going to start at the neckline like I said, and for the neckline I'm going to knit 1, purl 1 all around. So beginning with the first stitch, you knit the first stitch and then purl the next stitch. knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. Continue like this, knit one, purl one all around. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 1. In this row, we knit 1, purled 1 all around. Now for rows 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to repeat the same thing. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. This is how you're going to continue up to row 5. Go ahead and finish these 5 rows. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished these 5 rows. Now for row 6, we're going to knit all around like this. Continue, finish row 6. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 6. For row 6, we knit all around. I have 60 stitches. Now for row 7, we're going to purl across. Like this. Continue like this for row 7. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 7. For row 7, we purled across. Now, we're going to start on the short rows. I'm going to make 3 short rows, and this is what we're going to do. We need to place some stitch markers on this side and on this side. So here you're going to count 5, place a stitch marker. Count 5, place another stitch marker. Count 5, place a stitch marker. From this stitch marker to the beginning of the row stitch marker, there's 15 stitches total. From this one, there's 10. From this one, there's 5. So 5, 5, 5. Now, do the same thing for this other side. From the beginning of the row stitch marker, count 5, place a stitch marker. Count 5 again, place a stitch marker. Count 5 again, place a stitch marker. I have marked 15 stitches here. So now, to do this part, don't worry, it's very easy. I'll show you everything. Here, we're going to knit up to this last stitch before the stitch marker on this side. So to begin, knit 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, past the stitch marker, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, past the stitch marker, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Remove the stitch marker, turn your work. We're on the wrong side now. Bring the yarn in front. Slip the first stitch purlwise. Now pull the yarn over the needle like this. So you'll see this stitch here. Now bring the yarn in front and you're going to purl across to the other side, to this stitch marker on the other side. So let me show you. Here, make sure you pull that stitch so that there's no gap between the short row and the next stitch. So I'm going to purl 1, 2, 3, 4, past the stitch marker, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past the stitch marker, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, past the beginning of the row stitch marker, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, past the stitch marker, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, past the stitch marker, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Remove the next stitch marker, turn. We're on the right side now. Slip the next stitch purlwise, pull this stitch so that it goes over the needle and it creates this stitch with 2 bars. Now we're going to knit across to the next stitch marker. So knit 1, 2, 3, 4, past the stitch marker, 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past the stitch marker, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, past the stitch marker, the beginning of the row stitch marker, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, past the stitch marker, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Remove this stitch marker, turn your work, bring the yarn in front, slip the first stitch purlwise and pull it over the needle like this. And now we're going to purl across to this stitch marker on the other side. So purl 1, 2, 3, 4, past the stitch marker, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past the beginning of the row stitch marker, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, past your stitch marker, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Remove that stitch marker, turn, bring the yarn in front, and slip the next stitch purlwise. Pull the yarn over the needle like this. Now we're going to knit across up to this stitch marker on the other side. So here you're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, past your stitch marker, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, past your beginning of the row stitch marker, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Remove this stitch marker, turn, slip the next stitch purlwise, pull the yarn over the needle like this. Here's the short row, and now we're going to purl up to this green stitch marker for the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, past your beginning of the row stitch marker, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remove the stitch marker, turn, bring the yarn in front, slip this next stitch purlwise, pull the yarn over the needle like this. And now we're just going to knit all around. And we're going to resolve all of these short rows. So let me show you. Here you're going to knit across past your beginning of the row stitch marker, knit 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the first short row. It's got 2 little legs there. Knit as 1. There. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's the next one. Knit as 1. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Here's the third one. Knit this stitch as 1. And there you have it. That's how it looks. Now I'm going to continue all around until I come to the first one on this other side. So knit across. Okay, here's the first short row. It's actually the third one if you count from the beginning of the row. So to resolve this one, you just knit this stitch as 1. Pull the yarn tight and knit up to the next one. Here's the next one. Knit, pull the yarn tightly, and knit up to the last one. Here it is. Knit, pull the yarn, pull this one too, and this completes this row. Now I'm going to make one more row where I just knit all around, and then we're going to start on the repeats for the yoke. So for this part here, just go ahead and knit across. I forgot the beginning of the row stitch marker. So just go ahead and knit all around. I will meet you at the end of this row to show you the first row of the first repeat. I finished row 5. I knit all around. Now we're going to start on the yoke and we're going to make these repeats. We're going to make a total of 4 repeats. So this is going to be row 1 of the first repeat. So to begin here, we're going to knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. There. Over the next 4 stitches, same thing. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue. Again, over the next 4 stitches, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. Continue like this all around for this first row, the first repeat. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 1 of the first repeat. At the end of this row, I have a total of 90 stitches. Now for rows 2 through 6, you knit 5, 3, 4, 5, purl 1. Again, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, purl 1. And this is how you're going to continue. Knit 5, purl 1. So go ahead and finish rows 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 where you knit 5, purl 1. I'll meet you at the end of the 6th row. I finished rows 2 through 6. This completes the first repeat. At the end of each one of these rows, I had 90 stitches. Now we're going to start on the second repeat. So this is going to be row 1 of the second repeat. For this row, we're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, purl 1. Again, over the next 6 stitches, 2, 4, 6, you're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, purl 1. Again, over the next 6 stitches, 2, 4, 6, you knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, purl 1. Continue like this to the end of this first row of the second repeat. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 1 of the second repeat. At the end of this row, I have a total of 120 stitches. Now for rows 2 through 6, we're going to knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then purl 1. Again, knit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then purl 1. This is how you're going to continue for rows 2 through 6. At the end of each one of these rows, you're going to have a total of 120 stitches. So continue, knit 7, purl 1 all around. I'll meet you at the end of row 6 to show you what we need to do next. I finished rows 2 through 6. This completes the second repeat. Now we're going to start on the third repeat. So this would be row 1 of the third repeat. So here we're going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, purl 1. Again, over the next 8 stitches, you're going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, purl 1. Again, over the next 8 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, you knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue for row 1 of the third repeat. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 1 of the third repeat. At the end of this row, I have a total of 150 stitches. Now for rows 2 through 6, you're going to knit 9. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then purl 1. Again, knit 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, purl 1. And this is how you're going to continue for rows 2 through 6. Knit 9, purl 1. At the end of each one of these rows, you're going to have a total of 150 stitches. So go ahead and finish the third repeat. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished rows 2 through 6. This completes the third repeat. So now we're going to start on the fourth repeat. For the fourth repeat, we're going to knit 4. It's 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4. And then purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue. So over the next, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches, you're going to knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4. And then purl 1. Again, over the next 10 stitches, knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, and then purl 1. Continue like this to the end of this first row of the fourth repeat. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 1 for the fourth repeat. At the end of this row, I have 180 stitches. Now for rows 2 through 6, we're going to knit 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then purl 1. Again, knit 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then purl 1. This is how you're going to continue for row 2 through 6. You just knit 11 and then purl 1. At the end of each one of these rows, you're going to have 180 stitches. So go ahead and finish the 4th repeat. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished rows 2 through 6. This completes the 4th repeat. At the end of each one of these rows, I had a total of 180 stitches. Now this part here, the front of the little sweater, this part here, it's measuring about 13.5 centimeters, which is about 5.25 inches. Now we're going to separate the sleeves. So what I did here is place some stitch markers. For the back side, I'm going to have a total of 50 stitches, so 25 and 25. For each of the sleeves, I'm going to have 40 stitches, and for the front, I'm going to have 50 stitches. So here to begin, this is going to be row 1 of the body. Here I'm going to knit 25. Here's the beginning of the row stitch marker. So from there, you're going to knit 25. That's 3, and 25. I have 25 stitches here. Remove this stitch marker. Now to separate the first sleeve, we're going to add 4 stitches under the sleeve here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can also do a backwards loop like this to add these stitches. I did it where I wrap the yarn twice and then just grab a loop like this. Now I'm going to remove the next 40 stitches for the first sleeve, so I'm going to go ahead and use these tubes. There. These are the 40 stitches for the sleeve. I'm going to tie a knot here. There. Now I added 4 stitches right under the sleeve. Now we're going to continue and knit the 50 stitches here for the front. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on until you come here to the next stitch marker. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to separate the second sleeve. Okay, I knit the 50 stitches for the front, remove this stitch marker, and remove the next 40 stitches for the second sleeve. And I'm going to use another piece of this tubing here, or you can also use some waste yarn and do the same thing. And now before we continue, I need to add 4 extra stitches here under the sleeve. Now I'm going to continue and work the remaining 25 stitches for the back side, like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished knitting the last 25 stitches. This completes row 1 of the body where we have separated the sleeves. Now at the end of this row, you should have a total of 108 stitches. Under each sleeve, we added 4 stitches, so we have 50 plus 50 plus 4 stitches under each sleeve. That's a total of 108 stitches. And this is how it looks. We have separated the sleeves. Each of the sleeves has 40 stitches. Now we're going to continue with the body, and same thing. All we're going to do here is just knit all around. So beginning here, knit all of these stitches until you come to the stitches under the sleeve. I'm going to show you how you're going to work those stitches. It's same thing, you just knit those stitches. There, you just knit the loops here. And when you get to the other side under the other sleeve, you're going to do the same thing. Just knit across those 4 stitches and finish the row. At the end of each one of these rows for the body, you're going to have a total of 108 stitches. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here for the body, but continue watching. I would place a stitch marker here to mark the first row. That way you can count your rows starting from here. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well so that I can tell you how many rows I'm going to do. And all you do for all of these rows of the body is just knit all around. So go ahead and finish the body, continue watching, you'll see how many rows we're going to do, and then I'll come back and show you how we're going to work the hem. Finish the body of the little sweater. I did a total of 42 rows. So from here up to here, there's 42 rows. And this part here, it's measuring about 16 centimeters, which is about 6.25 inches. Now, what we're going to do next for row 43 is I'm going to work one row of purl, just like I did here for the neckline, because for the hem, I'm going to work a couple rows just like I did for the neckline so that it matches. So here, what I'm going to do for row 43 is just purl across or purl all around like this. If you want to make the body longer or shorter, you can adjust the number of rows that you make. Like I said, I did 42 plus this row here of purl stitches. So go ahead and finish row 43. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished row 43. I purled across for that row. Now we're going to start on the hem, so this is going to be row 1. So for the hem, we're going to do the same thing we did for the neckline. We're going to start with a knit 1 and then purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. And this is how you're going to continue for row 1 of the hem. Go ahead and finish this row. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 1 of the hem. That is where I knit 1, purled 1 all around. Now for rows 2 through 6, I'm going to do the same thing. Knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. This is how you're going to continue for the rest. So go ahead and finish this part and I'll meet you at the end of that row. I finished the hem. I did 6 rows here. So now we're going to cast off our stitches. If you want to make less rows or more rows, that's fine. That would be up to you. So here to cast off, we're going to knit the first stitch, purl the next. Now bring the first stitch over the second stitch. Again, knit 1, bring the first stitch over the second. Next stitch, purl, bring the first stitch over the second, and so on. Continue, finish casting off your stitches. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished casting off my stitches. Here at the end, I cast off the last stitch, cut my yarn, pass my yarn through that last loop. Now we're going to join the last stitch with the first stitch. So with a yarn needle, we're going to do the following. We're going to go here to the beginning. This is the first stitch. Insert the needle like this through both loops. Now insert the needle through the top of the last stitch. Pull the yarn and we're joined. Now we're going to hide this tail end here on the back. We're going to go to this next column of stitches and all we do is just weave this through this column of knit stitches like this. Now we're going to work our way down. Up 1 stitch, and now we can cut the remaining yarn. There, this part is done and that's how it looks. Here's the back and this is the front. Now we're going to make one of the sleeves. So to do this, with the back side facing you, we're going to go to this side, so the left side, because we started here, so this will be the next sleeve. So here I'm going to transfer these stitches back to the needles. For the sleeves, I'll be using the same needles. These are 4mm size, and these are longer because we're going to knit the sleeves in the round using the magic loop technique. Here we're going to use a crochet hook because we're going to start right here. These are the 4 stitches that we added under the sleeve, so I'm going to go right here. 1, 2 into this second one. I'm going to leave these 2 here, and I'll pick up those stitches when we finish the row. So just insert your hook here through the middle of that knit stitch and pull a loop through. Now leave a nice long tail here. If there's any gaps, you can always use this tail end to close those gaps. Sometimes no matter how much you try, there's always little gaps here and there, so this always helps, the tail end. Now we're going to pull the needle from the back, and we're going to put this loop on this needle. There. Now we're going to go into the middle of the next stitch here. This is still part of the 4, and pick up another stitch here. Now I picked up 2 stitches here. I'm going to pick up 1 more stitch because if I don't, then there's going to be a gap between these 2 stitches and the first stitch out of the 40 stitches that we left for the sleeve. So I'm going to pick up this stitch like this. Let's see. And now I'm just going to continue around the sleeve and knit the 40 stitches until I come to the other end where I'm going to pick up 3 stitches. Let's see. That looks pretty good. There may be a little gap here, but it'll all work out towards the end. So I'll go ahead and continue and knit all around. Here I'm going to show you, if you've never done the magic loop technique, how we're going to go from this side to the other side. There. Drop that needle, turn, push the cable, and pull the needle from the back and knit this other side. There. I knit 40 plus 3. I have 43 stitches up to here. Now we need to pick up 3 stitches here. So between this one and the 2 that I need to pick up, I need to add 1 here in the middle. So I'm going to go through both loops of this stitch and bring a loop through like this. And now pick up the 2 stitches on this side out of the 4 that we added under the arm. That's 1 and 2. Just go through the center of the stitch. There, that looks pretty good. At the end of this row, I have 46 stitches. This will be row 1 of the sleeve. Now for row 2, we're going to knit these 2 stitches here. There, I knit 2 stitches. Now we're going to knit 2 together. And I'm going to continue all around and knit up to the last 4 stitches. So continue for row 2. I will meet you here 4 stitches before we finish to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at this other end of the sleeve. This is row 2. I have the last 4 stitches. Knit 2 together, the next 2 stitches, then knit 2. And here is row 2. At the end of this row, I have 44 stitches. We started with 46. We decreased 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 at the end, so that equals 44 stitches at the end of this second row. Now for row 3, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to knit 2, then knit 2 together. Now continue and knit all around up to the last 4 stitches. I'll come back and show you how we're going to finish this third row. I'm at the end of the third row. I have the last 4 stitches. Now knit 2 together, the next 2 stitches, then knit 2. And here is row 3. At the end of this row, I have 42 stitches. We decreased 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 at the end. Now for row 4, we're going to knit 2 together, and now knit all around up to the last 2 stitches. So continue for this 4th row. I'll meet you at the end to show you how we're going to finish it. I'm here at the end of the 4th row. I have the last 2 stitches. Knit 2 together here at the end. There. At the end of this 4th row, you should have a total of 40 stitches. Now for rows 5 through 14, we're just going to knit all around, and at the end of each row, we're going to have 40 stitches. So go ahead and finish these rows. I'll meet you at the end of row 14 to show you what we need to do next. I did 14 rows here, including the rows that we did here for decreases. So I have a total of 14 rows here. Now for row 15, we're going to knit 2 together, and we're going to knit across up to the last 2 stitches. There, I have the last 2 stitches. Now knit 2 together here at the end. And here is row 15. At the end of this row, I have 38 stitches. Now for rows 16 through 30, you're just going to knit all around. So go ahead and finish up to row 30. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Again, you just knit all around, and at the end of each row, you're going to have 38 stitches. I'll meet you at the end of row 30. I finished rows 16 through 30. Now for row 31, we're going to decrease. So beginning here, we're going to knit 2 together, then knit across up to the last 2 stitches where I'm going to knit 2 together at the end. Here are the last 2 stitches, knit 2 together here at the end. And this is how I finish row 31. At the end of this row, you should have 36 stitches. Now for rows 32 to 42, you're just going to knit all around, and at the end of each row, you're going to have 36 stitches. So continue, finish this section, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished rows 32 up to row 42. Now for row 43, we're going to purl across. We're going to start on the cuff. So here you just purl all around. So continue for row 43. I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you how we're going to make the cuff. I finished row 43. I purled all around for that row. Now we're going to start on the cuff and we're going to do it exactly how we did the hem. So to begin here, for row 1 of the cuff, we're going to start with a knit 1 and then purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. Just like this all around. At the end of each row, you're going to have 36 stitches. I'm thinking of making, I don't know, 5-6 rows, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows we're going to do. And all you do is just knit 1, purl 1 all around. I will meet you at the end of that row. I finished the cuff. I did 6 rows. Now we're going to cast off our stitches. If you want to make the sleeve longer, you can. That would be up to you. So here to cast off, we're going to knit the first stitch and then purl the next stitch. Now bring the first stitch over the second, next stitch knit, bring the first stitch over the second, next stitch purl, and bring the first stitch over the second, and so on. Continue like this, cast off your stitches. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I cast off the last stitch, cut your yarn, and just pull this loop through the last stitch. Now we're going to join the first stitch with the last. So to do this with a yarn needle, we're going to join. So go here to the beginning, go through both loops of the first stitch, and then go through the center of the last stitch and come out on the wrong side. Now pull the yarn, and now it's joined. Now we're going to go into this next column of knit stitches and we're going to hide this tail end. So you just go through both loops and work your way up. And now work your way down. And just go up 1 stitch, then cut your yarn. There. The sleeve is done. And that's what it looks like. Now we're going to make the second sleeve. I'm going to start you off here. So just transfer your stitches onto your knitting needles. Transfer them from the front. So starting right here on this end. Now for the second sleeve, we're going to do exactly the same thing we did with the first sleeve. I'm going to join the yarn here in the center. We have the 4 stitches, so I'm going to count 1, 2 into this second stitch. With the help of a crochet hook, I'm going to pull a loop through. Now make sure to leave a nice long tail, although you might not need it. Here on this side, as you can see, there's no holes or anything. So here we have a loop that we pull through from the first stitch there, add it to the needle here. Now go into the next column of knit stitches here. This is the second stitch, and grab a loop here and put it onto the needles as well. There. So I have 2 stitches here. Now, so that there's no gap between these 2 stitches and this one here, I'm going to grab another stitch. I think I'll go here instead. So through this stitch. Now we're going to knit all around. I have 40 stitches. So same thing, you just knit all around until you come to the other end. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to pick up these 3 stitches here on this other end. I'm here at this other end. I have knit 40 stitches plus the 3 that I picked up here at the beginning. I have 43 stitches. So now I'm going to pick up another 3 stitches on this other side of the sleeve. And same thing. Here we're just going to pick up this next stitch right before the 2 that I have here. So like this. through both loops, grab a loop. There, I think that looks pretty good. There's no gap. And now I'm going to pick up these next 2 stitches. You can use a crochet hook for this part here. Just go through the center of the stitch here and grab a loop and pull it through and put it onto the needle, and one more right in the center and put it onto the needle. Perfect. There. Now I have a total of 46 stitches at the end of this first row of the sleeve. Now for the second row, we're going to knit 2 stitches here and then knit 2 together. That's 1 and 2. And now knit 2 together. And now just knit across up to the last 4 stitches. So go ahead and finish the second row. I'll meet you 4 stitches before we finish to show you how we're going to decrease at the other end. I'm here at the end of the second row. I have 4 stitches left. Knit 2 together the next 2 stitches, and then knit 2. Now at the end of this row, I have 44 stitches. For row 3, same thing. We're going to knit 2, then knit 2 together. Now knit across up to the last 4 stitches. I will meet you here at this other end to show you how we're going to finish this third row. I'm almost done with row 3. I have the last 4 stitches. Knit 2 together the next 2 stitches, then knit 2. And here is row 3. At the end of this row, you should have 42 stitches. Now for row 4, we're going to knit 2 together and knit across up to the last 2 stitches. Continue. I will meet you here at the end of this 4th row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 4. I have the last 2 stitches. Now knit 2 together here at the end. And this is how I finish row 4. At the end of this row, I have 40 stitches. Now for rows 5 through 14, you're just going to knit all around, and at the end of each row, you're going to have 40 stitches. I'm not going to show you this part because it's exactly the same how we worked the first sleeve. So you're going to continue here up to row 14. You just knit all around. For row 15, you're going to decrease 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 stitch at the end. And at the end of row 15, you're going to have 38 stitches. It's done exactly in the same way how the first sleeve was worked. So go ahead and finish the second sleeve, and then I'll come back and show you the finished baby sweater and give you the finished measurements. I finished the second sleeve. I did it exactly in the same way how I showed you here with the first sleeve. It's done exactly in the same way. So here's the finished little sweater. This is how it looks. This is the front, and this is the back side. Now let me give you the finished measurements. The total length of the sleeve from the top of the neckline to the end of the cuff, it's measuring about 31 centimeters, which is about 12 inches. From under the sleeve to the end of the cuff, it's measuring about 18 centimeters, which is about 7 inches. Now the width of the sleeve, this part here right across, just the top, it's measuring about 9.5 centimeters, which is about 3.75 inches. Now the total length from the top of the neckline to the end here of the hem, it's measuring about 31.5 centimeters, which is about 12 inches. Now the chest measurement right across, just on top, it's measuring about 26 centimeters, which is about 10 inches. Now the yoke depth from here up to here right across, it's measuring about 15 centimeters, which is about 6 inches, and the neck circumference all around without stretching, it's measuring about 27 centimeters, which is about 10.5 inches. So based on these measurements, this little sweater is for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months old, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 2 to 3 year size. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. I'll be adding the written pattern as soon as it's ready. Now, here's a little sweater that I did. I follow the same pattern. The only difference is that I used smaller knitting needles. For the 0 to 3 month size, which is this light blue color one, I used 3.5 millimeter knitting needles and just follow the exact same pattern. So you can easily adjust the size by just changing needle size. So make sure to look in the information box. Now, as far as yarn, for the 3 to 6 month size, I used a total of 138 grams, which is about 310 meters or about 340 yards of DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I used. Now, make sure to comment below and let me know if you want me to make a matching little hat or perhaps matching baby pants. I'll gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment and like the video. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.